Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. Happy Friday. I'm so glad you're here to join us on this Friday. Today I'm going to be doing something a little bit different. As you can see, I don't have a book with me over here. I just have pillows, my couch, and that's it. So today, since it's Friday, it's a Funday Friday. So what does it you think that means? We're going to be doing something fun, right? So I suggest we make slime. It's very simple. There's only 3 things you need to make this slime. Even you can make it, but with the supervision of your mommies and daddies. Remember that, okay? So what is the first thing you need to make slime, do you think? First thing we're gonna need is some Elmer's school glue. Now I know there are some places that sell like pre-made slime kits, but you don't need to buy that whole kit and get into it, because half the time those don't work as they should. So I would suggest just getting some school glue, even just a regular 8-ounce size. The small little ones that are like that, those will work fine. You don't need a whole lot. I will go over this in a little bit. Depending on how much slime you want is how much glue you put in. So the more glue you put in, the more slime we're going to get out of it. The second ingredient that we need is Stay Flow, or liquid starch. You can find this at Walmart. I think Dollar General, Dollar Tree has these as well. It's very cheap. Walmart is like $2, I think it is, or $1.50. I can't remember exactly, but those are the main 2 right here. And this liquid starch is what's going to give it its consistency and its rubbery feel, its texture, and its goopiness. It's going to help form the slime. So these are your main 2 right here that'll do it. So after that, you're going to take either dye, food coloring, or what I like is some paint. It doesn't have to be acrylic. It can be just basic paint that you can find at your local dollar store or Walmart or wherever you go to find your paints at. It does not have to be fancy paint, and you're only going to need like 1 or 2 little drops. So even if you want to just get like a sample size that's half the size, like this big, that'll work. Yeah, so just get whatever color of paint you want, get your Stay Flow, and get your glue. The other things you're going to need, aside from all that, is a bowl. You want one a little bit bigger so that you have room to stir it up. That way it doesn't just go all over the place. And then you're going to want your favorite stick that you use with. I got a wooden spoon that we use to stir our paint with, but it'll work for this too because the paint is dry on the stick. And you're going to want a napkin, because it is going to get a little messy. Okay, so with that being said, we are going to go ahead and get started on this activity. See you in a minute. Okay, so like I said, we're going to start with our bowl, right? We just push everything else to the side, and like I have said before, we are going to start with our glue, okay? So the amount of glue determines the amount of slime that you have. So we're just going to go ahead, put the glue in. So I want a little bit more slime than usual because it's really fun and relaxing to play with. So I have a lot in there. There we go. So you just put in what you think you will need or your kids will play with without making too big of a mess. And after we put the glue in, you're going to take your favorite color of paint that you want, and you're just going to put, like I said, a few drops. You don't need a whole lot. The more you add, the darker it's going to be, more vibrant it's going to come out. So I want my slime to be a little bit brighter, so I'm going to do that. Now, we're going to take it, we're going to blend it, and you see how this color is forming into a color here? So this is still only just glue, that's it. Do not put your hands in this, otherwise it's going to be very messy and very sticky, okay? So you can blend it to however much you want it. And just keep stirring until you get the color that you want. That's a good color for me right here. That's the one that I like. So the next color, if you can see all that, the next thing we're gonna add is what again? Can you guys remember it? The liquid starch. Now, unlike the glue we just poured in just like that. The liquid starch, we're going to take the lid off, and this is where you guys probably want your mommy and daddy's helps. And we're gonna add a little bit at a time. Just a very little bit. You don't need a lot, okay? And then we're gonna start stirring. And then, if you can see that, looky, I'm gonna hold it up right here to you guys. It doesn't look gluey anymore, does it? There's no more glue in there really. It's starting to get a little bit stickier, so you want to stir it until you can't stir it anymore. And it's going to start getting a little bit thicker, a little bit rubberier, and it's gonna start to take form. Okay? If it's not the consistency you want yet, you can add a little bit more of the liquid starch to it. So remember, we're not going to pour it in. We're just going to do a little bit at a time. And then when it gets to the point where you cannot stir it anymore, because it's either sticking to the sides or it's getting too thick, you're going to want to use your hands. That's where the napkin comes in. So see, we're just going to stir it. I'm going to keep going until we get the right form that we want. Okay, and see, it's still gooey and it's still liquidy, so we don't have it yet. But it's okay, it'll come together eventually. And this is where you just keep on pouring a little bit at a time, a little bit at a time, until we get our slime starting to make. So you see how it's starting to pick up now? It's starting to look like slime, like a putty. You see? It's not looking all watery anymore, so it's like that. Okay? So I don't think at this point we really need any more liquid starch in there, because it's starting to get sticky, as you can see. Just like this, so we got to start morphing it with our hands, okay? Now, what I mean by when I say morphing is we're going to mold it. We're going to grab it and we're going to plop it around. But see, it's still a little sticky. That's okay. That's what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be a little bit sticky. And if it's too sticky, like see this, it's sticking to my hands. That's not sticky. That's not good. So we got to add a little bit more liquid starch. I know I said I wasn't going to add any more, but you just go by how sticky you want the slime and how done you want it. So we're going to go like this for a little bit until we get it to consistency, okay? So if it's sticking to your hand, it's not done yet. We have to make it so that it's not sticking to our hands. Okay? So I'm going to sit here and do this until it's done. And you can just add the liquid starch in a little bit at a time. And eventually, it's going to come out really good. And now see, look at that. It's starting to not stick to my hands anymore. There's a little bit on there from the last little bit that we had. But it's okay, because this is a fun activity that we're going to have. And you guys can play with this slime all day long. And the secret to keeping slime good is putting it in an airtight container. So ask your mommies or daddies for a Tupperware or a baggie that Ziplocs closed, and you want to keep it cool. Okay? I don't really have a unit of measurements, so like 1 cup or anything. I just eyeball it and keep adding the liquid starch in. I know some of you are probably going to ask about that, but this is all it is now. So you see how I'm doing that? I'm taking it, you fold it over each other, you can morph it and fold it and fold it and fold it, and the liquid starch is going to keep on getting inside of it there and making it harder and harder. The more you roll it, it's going to be sticky at first. It's going to be sticky, and that's because of the glue. So if you don't want it very sticky, we'll add a little bit more liquid starch. So see, it's still sticking to my hands here. So we can add a little bit more if we wanted to. Okay? Which is what we're probably going to do, because it'll come right off your hand still. So we'll add just a little bit more starch. Get it all together, mix it up, make sure it's all combined. I don't know if any of you have ever made bread with your parents, any bread, or even made some cookies or anything, but when you have your dough for cookies and bread, you sort of have to knead it a little bit, right? So you have a bread mixture. So if you've done that, it's kind of like that, or even with Play-Doh. If you've ever played with Play-Doh, you have it sticky and stretchy, and you keep on stretching it, fold it over, squeeze it together a little bit, stretch it out, fold it over. And then the more you do it and the longer you play with it, the more it's going to thicken and get rubbery and feel more like slime should. And now at this point, it's all about how sticky you want it, or how rubbery you want it. So you're going to morph it, just fold it. I keep on saying morph, and that's a fun word for me to say. I know you guys like it. So keep on squeezing it, stretching it out. Looks like bubble gum, doesn't it? That's all you got to do. Just play with it just like that until it gets to however thick you want it. If you want it more gooey and goopy, you don't add very much in there and it's going to slide through your fingers. But this one, you see how it's sliding through my fingers like that? That's a good texture to have for me. And there you go. You guys have your slime, and you can play with this whole entire thing right here if you wanted to. You could stretch it out. You can squeeze it in between your fingers like this. Let me know how it feels. It gets sticky. You can pull it apart, but the fun thing about it is, no matter how much you pull it apart, it'll always come right back together again. So the more you do this, the more it's going to turn into slime. And like I said before, if you want it less sticky, like it is, like mine is here, mine is not too sticky, but it is still sticking to my hands. You'll add more liquid starch, and that'll take away the sticky texture. Okay? So just keep on molding it just like bread, just like that. Just keep on pushing it around inside the bin here. You can hold it with your hands and do that. Do whatever you want with it at this point, because now there's no more glue in it. It's just a slime. It's the mixture. Okay? So with that being said, I'm going to add just a little bit more for mine. And I hope all of you have an amazing day and an amazing weekend. I'm going to be having some more fun stories next week. Then if you can hear it, you should listen to the sound. I can move it closer. You see that? We have some slime. And there it is. Now, you can mix different colors too. So you can get this color and another color, blend it together, and it'll change colors on you. You won't be able to get the original color back. So if you want to try it, I would say do half. So just take this, pull it apart, take just a little bit, and you can mix the colors together. And that's the fun thing about this. You can pull it apart, and you can put it right back on the big one, and fold it in, and it'll get right back together again. Alright, friends. So, I'm glad I was able to help you out with this here. So, I hope you guys have an amazing weekend, and I really hope that you enjoyed making this slime with me today. And I hope you guys just be kids and have fun with it. As for the parents too, I hope you guys enjoyed making this with your kids. This is a really good family activity, and like I said, even if it's not for the kids, even if it's for you, it's just really fun to do and stress relieving to just sit here and squeeze into the slime. You see, if you're under some stress or anything, just sit here and mold it. It's like a stress ball. Even for the kids, if you're feeling anxious about something, just grab your slime, close your eyes, and just play with it. Just squeeze it, take deep breaths until you're calm. And then see, you can twist it, you can squeeze it together, you can make a ball out of it, and do whatever you need to do. So with that, I'm gonna say have a good weekend, friends, and I will see you all on Monday. Alright? Have a good weekend, guys. Bye.